Welcome to the BMBA Podcast, which airs every Monday at 7 p.m. A podcast where we share all the news, information, updates and events that is happening around the BMBA. If you're a current BMBA participant or a potential one, then this podcast is for you. BMBA Basketball is an exciting new basketball program providing new and innovative concepts and structures for junior basketballers through their training, coaching and games.
Our games are played at the magnificent Stonnington Sports Centre located next door to the Chadstone Shopping Centre. These courts are modern, have great temperature control and have fantastic facilities to host junior basketball matches. Our kids are now enjoying playing at this magnificent venue. On top of that, they are also enjoying the new features and concepts of junior BMBA matches. Features and concepts not seen before in junior matches in Melbourne. These features include a fully timed 60-minute match schedule, where the game clock stops on every whistle. This means there is no wasted time and our juniors get to play every minute of their match. Our juniors are also enjoying playing with a shot clock in each of their games. This provides another unique and exciting aspect to our junior matches.
This podcast will provide parents of our junior boys and girls, or parents of potential participants, with all the information they need to maximize that participation. It will also allow them to ask questions directly to us through the chat function of the podcast. So whether you are a current parent, a potential new parent, a representative from a club, school or another basketball program, we look forward to engaging with you each Monday at 7 p.m.
Okay, welcome everyone to the BMBA Podcast. Sorry, I've got a crazy dog. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's hyper all of a sudden. So very difficult to do a podcast with a hyper dog under your feet. You want to settle down? While I was doing that intro, there he goes. He's settled down. Oh, I hope so. Anyway, welcome to the BMBA Podcast. Couldn't be here last week. My internet was very dodgy, kept bouncing up and down, so decided not to do the podcast last week. Would have been very frustrating for everyone to follow, but it's much better today. I've tested it with another podcast I do. We got through that fine, so hopefully we get through this one fine. Won't be a long podcast this week. We just want to catch up on a few things and just give a bit of a summary of how we kicked off term 2 for 2026 last week, and take things from there. And looking forward to what we can be doing in the rest of this term for the BMBA. If you are watching and you want some questions asked, just simply send me a message through via the chat, and I'll happily ask those questions, and we'll hopefully resolve any issues or information you're looking for, and we can go from there. Okay. Last week we started our first, not last week, really the week before on Anzac Day weekend. We started, but we didn't have a huge turnout, naturally enough, because of the public holiday weekend. But this was our first weekend when we had our full suite of training time. So on the Wednesday, the Friday, and the Saturday, and it all went off pretty well. So we've added extra sessions at Wrong Romanas in Paran. It's going to take us a term, I think, to build that up. But that is certainly something we're looking forward to bring more numbers in. Our numbers this term, for whatever reason, we're going to be looking to find that out over the next couple of weeks, have dropped a little, especially our Friday night session where we were booming in the under-12s. For a number of reasons, we are missing some players on that night. So we were going from nearly 2 full teams, and we've dropped back a little bit now. We've probably just got enough if everyone turns up for our scrimmage games. We didn't quite have enough last week, but we got a game in anyway. So, the Saturdays went off really well. Our under-14s are going strong. I'll come back to them in a minute. And our kids' first numbers sadly have dropped off a little bit, but I think that goes from term to term, and in the winter you're competing with soccer, all those sorts of things. We don't know yet. We're going to try and find out from past enrolments from term 1 to discover what we're doing in term 2. It's the first time we've had a dip. We've been slowly and surely increasing our enrolments, but it could be to do with we change times, all that sort of thing. So we'll write off to all our registrants who didn't come back this term and try and find out. And then get those numbers back up across this term and going into next term, which is crucial for the long-term viability of what we're trying to do through the BMBA and now the Stonington and Districts Basketball Association. If we don't grow these numbers, the cold hard fact is both the BMBA and Stonington and Districts will cease to exist. So that membership total, that participation number, we have to grow it. I'm very confident that the vast bulk of our memberships, participation numbers have enjoyed their time with the BMBA because they've consistently gone back. I do know from some feedback that we have some people that just this term couldn't re-register and they're looking to join back in term 3. Having said that, we have plenty of space now to be adding more numbers. Plenty of space. It's like we could fit another 150 kids into our programs. We'd have to get more coaches, but we've got the space there between the Rongramanas, De La Salle and Stonington to fit that many new enrolments into the program. And if we did that, we benefit from the numbers we have at training, the competitions we can form, the teams we can form, all the service we'd be able to get. We'd be able to bring in new coaches, employ some young ones, and BMBA and Stonington and Districts would become financially viable and would keep, most importantly, council happy because we're paying their bills as they're falling due. If we're not doing that, they get unhappy, naturally enough. So, yeah, there's a lot of reasons to get our numbers up. So anything you can do to help us would be great. There's an email coming out this week. Start of each term, there's always emails. We announced the last podcast about the shoot-a-thon. Everyone will be getting a hard copy version of our booklet we sent out through you via the email. Even though our numbers have dropped, we do need people getting behind that. I won't go over the shoot-a-thon. You can go back to our last episode to go through that or refer back to our emails. We can assist, hopefully, getting your sponsors or getting you a list of people to approach your sponsors. We've been doing a lot of work for the last 18 months to get that up through local businesses. And we've provided them a service already free of charge. So, we hope they pay it forward by sponsoring one of our junior athletes. So it's something you can use as a real foot in the door to get behind that. Another thing we will be starting to try and increase our numbers from this term is we did introduce a buddy program. We haven't had a lot of response to it, but we are going to reintroduce, I haven't figured out what to call it yet, pretty much a recruitment program. And you don't even have to be a participant. So if you're knowing anyone, it could be, let's say, a university student, could be a high school kid looking for an extra $1, could be parents looking for an extra $1 to help with the weekly bills or to put petrol in the car. For every new enrollment, like it has to be a brand new enrollment, not past people in the program. So if you've got connections through primary school, through work, through daycare, kindergartens, whatever, and you can bring a new registration into the BMBA, we're going to pay you a commission of $50. So if you work in a school, for example, try and convince a school to market our there's something like 40 schools around Stonington everywhere, and some of them will put your promos in for free, a lot of them will charge, and you're looking anything between $30 and $50. We just simply can't afford that sort of money. But if a school, for example, puts our promo in the newsletter and they get 10 kids into our programs, you could raise then $500 for your school. Or you could be convincing them to put it in and you can get the $500. We don't really care as long as we get kids in our program. So, yeah, we want to encourage word of mouth through a financial incentive. And it's like an affiliate program. So if you're aware of software affiliate programs, if you become an affiliate and you direct business towards that company, they will pay you a commission. So it's pretty much the same as that. So we're going to be making this offer to all you guys, our BMBA participants and members. We're going to be making it to schools, to clubs, to everyone, just to try and drive these numbers up and get the word out and get our membership and participation numbers up so we can then actually introduce more services towards you, our BMBA participants. So, and all the other benefits that will flow. So there'll be information coming out about that this week. So we're going to be looking to get that started. So have a look at your email inbox for that. Last week, we've now got kids virtually in all our programs. We've got a beautiful suite of programs now. On the training, we've got Kids First, Basketball Plus, and IDP. Pretty much caters towards all age groups and all standards. And the competition, we've got Games Plus, IDP Games, and our rep program. Again, caters to all standards of competitions. So whether you're a BMBA participant looking to get your child into training so they can ultimately participate in matches, or whether, for example, you're a club that wants to get your teams into something else as an added competition or a separate one, we can provide and cater for all of that. If you've got that really ambitious kid who wants to put in, extra training and play a high level, we can cater for that as well through our rep program, which plays out of Dandenong Basketball Association. So we have a full suite of programs. We now across 3 venues across Donington. Our key now is to get kids and parents in. And to help along with that, if you're interested, we have launched a new promo which enshrines everything that I just spoke about. So I'm going to share this with everyone. And if you are keen on getting involved on this as the affiliate to get commissions, just get in contact with me. We'll send you the emails. You can do it through that. But we have started, and I'll show you the thing, a concept called Basketball Extra. So Basketball Extra pretty much is a summary, and it's a page on our website. There's our flyer. And we've now got 2 logos. That's a BMBA logo. That's the Stonington and Districts basketball logo. But we wanted to get what BMBA really represents. And we think it represents this, extra. We believe it's extra value for your child's basketball. We don't believe any other program matches what we do. So, for example, it says pretty much all here in the flyer, extra training sessions, extra game features, extra games, extra development, extra coaching, extra court time. Actually, there should be another flyer up there. I'll put the wrong one up because we also have extra training time as well. So if anybody's child who is currently playing, just let's say domestic, they might get one training session of anything between 40 minutes and 60 minutes. Well, they can get an extra training session with us. So we're providing more. But more also in our training sessions, we go for 90 minutes. Most domestic clubs and even a lot of rep clubs don't do that. Your child can get extra training sessions also. If they're, for example, they're in a rep team, they can train 1, 2, 3 times a week. If they are in an IDP program, they can train twice a week. If they're not doing anything, they can get their Basketball Plus and get an extra training session on top of already their other commitments. So they're getting extra both in the amount of sessions they can attend and the time of those sessions. We have extra game features that aren't available in most other competitions. So, for example, our 6-minute quarters where the games are fully timed, that is not available. Our shot clocks, that is not available. Even the temperature control of Stonington is not available at most other competitions. We have bylaws that are available at other competitions but aren't enforced. We enforce them. And we also have independent coaching. So every participant within the BMBA, and that comes under development, will get rewarded because of how much they've improved in their work ethic. They won't be getting favours for the boys because their parent is good mates with the parents of a coach of a team, that sort of thing that can happen in basketball. They also get extra games. If they're already playing a game, they get an extra one. And what we call an extra coaching, our coaching is structured, it's professional, it's progressive, and it makes sure that your kid, these are all selling points to someone else, will develop and will give us a reporting. I think many of you have come from other training and programs have really enjoyed that because you've communicated that to me. And it also means through our game structure, having a fully timed game over a full hour instead of 45 minutes where the clock doesn't stop. With us, it stops at every whistle. Your child will get extra court time on top of that, extra training on top of those extra games, which means they can only develop their skills and knowledge. So these are all real big selling points, and you can direct these people to a page, and we outline all these along this page on what we provide through the BMBA. And I think, and here's our suite of programs. That's what I was talking about here on training, Kids First, Basketball Plus or IDP, and then the Games Plus, IDP, and our rep teams. We are really, or I am really happy with that product on what we can offer. So it's just a matter now of spreading the word and getting people involved. We have to be doing that consistently. And look, the goal is for BMBA and Stonington districts to get initially up to 150, which is close to capacity with what we've got, but then to even push further to get it up to 500 participants. Now, that sounds like a big number. It's not. There's a lot of sorry, guys. There's a lot of just domestic clubs that have far more than that. I know of clubs that have got 1,000 members, for example. Associations would have 8,000 members. So when we're at GSAC under Oakley banner, we had 500 members, and it worked beautifully. It wasn't too big, wasn't too small. We can provide competitions across the board in every age group. And we had probably the best coaching program in Melbourne going around at that stage, which is something we want to develop once more again through the BMBA. And it was really, because it wasn't too big, it became a tight-knit family club. And that's exactly what we want to be doing now. So there's an email coming out about that. Here's a chance for you to help us market this. But in doing that, helping you to raise a few dollars too for yourself. So we think it's only fair that if someone brings someone in, we've got the buddy scheme where you can put that towards next term 3, or we could have this affiliate program where you can actually earn some dollars to go towards your own bank account. So we are pretty keen to find ways to get more juniors into our program, because that benefits everyone, like I said. Last weekend we successfully launched all these programs. It's actually good now that we've got kids in our Kids First program, kids in our Basketball Plus program, kids in our Games Plus program. We've got kids in our IDP Games program, and we've got kids in our rep program. So every program now has numbers, and we've got participants in virtually every session. What we want to do is get those to capacity, So where we've got 3 kids in a Kids First program, we want to get 10. Capacity is 1 coach and 10 kids on a half court. So we can fit 20 kids with 2 coaches to each half court as we get more registrations in. So, for example, we could have 10 kids doing Kids First on one end of a half court, and on the other half court, at the other end of the court, we could have 10 kids doing Basketball Plus, or we could have 2 Kids First sessions. So we can do that. In our Basketball Plus, we are breaking them up into 2 groups. There will be what we call the beginner group, who've only just started the Basketball Plus sessions. And then there'll be a more advanced group who've been in Basketball Plus for quite a while, but not quite yet available to go up to the more elite IDP sessions, but are very close. So, and then we obviously have our rep team ones, which is really where people have achieved a fair bit. So it's nice to have them across the board. Again, I'll keep pushing this. We need more numbers to get in there. Our coaches are coming on. We've got 4 young coaches now who double up as referees. All our coaches have to be a referee as well, and it's quite a lot of fun to watch them develop. A few of the boys, and if you've got anybody out there who's maybe an older secondary college student or a university student, we'd like to hear from them, because as we grow, we would need more coaches. Arong Romanis, for example, is on a Saturday morning between 9 and 12. If I could get a second coach to help me out on there would be work going forward with that, because I want that to operate independently. And what I mean by that is, while we have BMBA programs, if I don't need to be there, I don't have to be there, because I have other commitments on the Saturday. So I'm definitely looking for somebody I can trust with that. So if you've got a responsible older teen or younger adult that's looking for an extra few dollars, that could be a really good thing for them. And the same thing, as our numbers grow on Friday nights, overflow could go into DLSL, and I need another person who's responsible that can supervise and manage sessions at DLSL. So I'm keen to hear from people interested in those sorts of roles. So if you know of anyone, get in contact with me. If you are a person from another club, we're looking for more teams to join us on a Friday night at the moment. This will eventually expand out to the Saturdays to start putting some teams in under 14s and under 12s. So if you're looking for extra for your kids, there's lots of ways to achieve it. They can get the extra game, they can get the extra court time, and we are open to training all sorts of kids. They don't have to belong to the BMBA. They might be a part of your club, but they can still register and get extra training, extra coaching, extra development through the BMBA on top of your club's training. And that is only going to make them better for your domestic teams, games with whatever competition you're in. So our goal is to develop junior basketballers across the board. Obviously, we like as many BMBA players as we can, but even if we've got kids from other clubs training with us who are trying to develop their game for their teams. So we'll happily accommodate that as we go forward. So, going back to our coaches and our referees, the 4 young guys, it's interesting to see their development, both as coaches. We're getting it, and it's very difficult. We're getting them to be more vocal as coaches and to blow their whistle more as referees, and it's interesting to see how each individual evolves. They eventually all get there, but we had a couple of the boys really breaking some ice. A special shout out to Daniel and George Zhang brothers. They both blew the hell out of it as referees, which is their first stage to becoming very good referees. So we want to develop more and more of them, but they blew the whistle an awful lot on Friday and even had this coach disputing a couple. But that's when you know you're becoming a better referee, because you're actually making calls, and every time you make a call in a basketball game, there's always the chance that someone will be disputing it. That's part of learning. So as long as it doesn't go over the top, which we will we will deal with if that ever happens. But that's not happening, obviously, with our games. It's all a bit of fun at the moment. And our under 14s are actually developing a really nice standard game. A couple more kids in there. We could actually form 2 teams. Our 12s, we're probably not. We could have nearly last year, not quite in that space this year. This term, I should say. But again, we just want to keep adding those numbers. Girls, we're very interested in getting more on. So that's basically a quick snapshot of where we are this term. A special shout out to our under 14 boys. They are having a crack. This is our rep team. They're having a crack at the Dandenong A grade competition. That'll be an exciting adventure for them. I went out and had a look at a couple of games. We had to buy first game because I stupidly put us in under 12s when we're an under 14 team. So I had a look at the teams out there. It'll be a different style of competition to what they had last year. Last year we played a lot of big teams, like some monsters, and the boys really stuck at it, acquitted themselves well across the season, and despite some heavy losses early, they really came home with a wet sail and ended up knocking off the undefeated team who went on to win the grand final. We beat them in the last round, and no one got close to beating them. So, and we beat them pretty comfortably. The scoreline didn't show that, but they got a few late baskets. Our boys played really well, and they've played in a couple of tournaments. So I'm quietly confident they're ready for this challenge. And if we can get them up and competing and winning at that level, that will be an outstanding feather in our cap as a program and a feather in their cap as a group of players. We don't have, some of the clubs we're going up against are those clubs that might have 500, 600 kids. And here we are with 20 to 40 kids, and we've got our team playing in one of the strongest competitions in Melbourne. So I'm looking forward to see how the boys go. I'm very confident if they have the right attitude, they are going to more than hold their own. So could be some exciting times ahead, and they're going to be trailblazing for the next group coming through. So if you ever get a chance to come out and have a look, be prepared to, Dandenong's not that far away. I know a few others have already played in the Dandenong comp. We would love for BMBA participants to come out and support the boys. So feel free, if you've got nothing better to do on a Saturday, take a drive out to Dandenong, come into the stadium. It doesn't cost you anything. Give the boys a bit of a look and a bit of support. And we'll certainly appreciate that. We'll definitely be giving updates as we go forward with our competitions. Another big thing for BMBA participants, we want to start building towards forming teams. So one thing we are going to be doing this term is organising uniforms for all BMBA participants, whether you're in Kids First, whether you're in Basketball Plus. We want to get you in BMBA kit. So we want people who want to do the training to help us form teams, to help us form competitions. So rather, at the moment, for example, kids that are in our BMBA Games Plus or the IDP, the Friday night games, whatever, they come along and we provide them with a singlet for now. We want to get away from that because, one, it can be it's very hard. It's a lot of hard work to just be pulling out these singlets when they've been worn for 2 or 3 weeks. You've got to wash them. You've got to bring them back and forth. You've got to put it aside space. In the under 14 boys, for example, all the boys there have a BMBA uniform. Their tops are reversible. They just get in there. We form into 2 teams. They flip their tops and away they go. So we want all our players who are looking to play competition in a BMBA uniform. And that way, when we do form teams, they're just ready to go. They don't have to be worrying about uniform orders or whatever. So we'll be putting some information out about that in the next week. Obviously, there's a cost for a kit. And when we say a kit, we're talking about a playing top, playing shorts, and a polo. So we're just going to get a new polo designed, and then we are off and running. I know there's a few players that have already got uniforms that are growing out of them, so we've got to get more in. So we've put that out. We'll put it up for people to purchase. We'll get the uniform orders done. They take about 8 weeks to come in, anything between 4 and 8 weeks. They're made in China, so they get delivered across here. So depending on world events, whether sea lanes are open, shut, all this sort of thing that's going on, that'll define how long it takes. So the quality of uniform we've already got is quite high. It certainly looks outstanding. And we want the kids to be proud of their program they're playing in. So the more kids we can get into a BMBA uniform, the better. And even for our Kids First kids, we're going to get not a polo, but we're going to get them a little reversible Kids First basketball top. So they also have some ownership about being part of the BMBA. And that's what provides us with a little pride and ownership of what we're trying to do in the program. So we're really looking forward to that as we go as well. So, look, we're also offering, because we don't get a lot of questions on here in the email, for an avenue for people to send us through questions. So we understand 7 o'clock on a Monday, we do it at that time simply because it benefits my schedule here. But 7 o'clock also, we understand, is time where probably families getting together, have dinner, doing homework. So whether people will watch this in their own time, they might not be able to get on and send through questions. So we're going to be doing a part where you can send us through questions and we can then address them on the podcast. So when we send out, we'll be sending this podcast link out each week, and we'll be asking via email, and we'll be saying, if you've got any questions, please send them through, and we will answer them via this podcast. Now, I've been saying this for a while. We will be following through. We are also going to be doing other little different things with the podcast that can help the kids with their basketball, whether that is a coaching part of this podcast and Q&A again. It could be the kids coming in and going, we are definitely going to be doing 2 things, the player of the week and the participant of the week. And that's all going to be coming back to the kids with the most improvement, attitude, all that sort of thing. We'll try and keep an honours board up for those participants through them. So we'll be asking our coaches to be nominating people, and then part of my job, I'll be deciding which person gets that week's nomination. So I don't think we'll be putting any prizes, but if we can get some business sponsors that want to give, for example, a McDonald's voucher each week to give out to our BMBA participant of the week, or our BMBA baller, we'll call it something, we'll definitely be giving that. We'll also be looking to get, I think I've said this a couple of times, special guests onto the podcast. When we do that, we'll make sure we have a run-in time so we can announce it and get them on board, and then people can also join in on the podcast and ask those questions live. So all that is what we wanted to be developing over this term. I couldn't get this done last week. As I said, the internet's been up and down, plus it's been a pretty busy couple of weeks getting everything in place. We've pretty much now got all of that in place. So it's time to evolve the podcast a little bit more. So I'm just trying to get something, speaking of the podcast, just trying to get something before I leave you all up. It's the glasses. All right. Sorry, guys, just bear with me for one tick. Just going to my YouTube channel, and I want to make sure something's on there. And I have to mute myself. Yeah, so all of that sort of thing will be coming, and we want the kids to be actually looking forward, because we're going to have results, we're going to have tips, we're going to have awards, all that sort of thing, and we want the kids to be able to look at these podcasts and enjoy them. So that is something we're going to be doing moving forward. One last thing before we do go, be sending out again this week in an email. Every term we change the passwords, especially for those who are doing our Basketball Plus training or games. To access our playbook and our video library online, you need a password for those pages. They're coming out this week. So please, please, please keep an eye out for that. Save them somewhere, and that gives you access to our playbook page and our Warriors Templar page on the website, which gives you access to a whole bunch of information, videos, all sorts of things that can help your child's basketball. We change them at the start of every term because other clubs have taken advantage of that website and used our material for their training, which we don't think is a very nice thing to be doing without any permission. So we sort of got a bit jack of that when we found that out a couple of times, and now we just change passwords all the time and reserve that for BMBA participants, as it should be. So you'll be getting all those this week. There's going to be a lot more news moving forward, so we really want to use this podcast. And if you are interested in that affiliate program where you can make a few dollars, share the podcast. Great way to be doing things. We want more people involved. You can share them on your social media. In our email, we'll be sharing our flyer. So you're going to have a bunch of things that you can share to friends at school, at work, to family, everything you want to do, and we can get our social media presence up. If everyone can contribute to that, we're naturally going to grow, and then all the good things will happen. So looking forward to this term. Hopefully we will provide you the best service within our powers, and we are looking forward to your child benefiting from it for term 2 as we build into a big term 3. So from me and he's downstairs, my main assistant coach, JJ. So from me and JJ, we wish you all the best for a good night, and we will see you around the traps over the weekend. And looking forward to the continued expansion of the BMBA and now the Stonington and Districts Basketball Association. Good night, everyone.